Hello guys, and welcome to the weekly market overview with me, Pierre from PAFX. I hope you all had a great trading week and that we're gonna get another even better one. Please do hit the like button as usual. If you like these sessions, you are more than welcome to share the stream as well. As you see, I have on my screen today announcement that the registration for the next batch is now open. So there is like 5 seats left. If you are interested to join the next batch that gonna start the first week of April, you are welcome to send me an email at info@pafx.com, as you see in the screen. And yeah, I will send you all the information you need. I used to get some questions as well about my about my trading room and chat room and how that's work. I will show you some of that right now, and for those of you who's interested, please let me know and I will help you and get you in the room if you feel like you do not need to learn more of the course, but you do want some place to be, to have updates and stuff like that, to have your trading ideas reviewed by me from time to time. That is the reason for being in a trading room, and then of course to learn some on the way. So the way the chat room works is over Slack. As you see, we use the Slack platform, and we have several rooms. The Forex lobby, where we chat about almost everything about Forex. We do have the trade idea room, where everyone is welcome to send their trade ideas, as you see, and we used to comment on those and help each others out. And the most popular one is the update by Pierre room, where I do send daily update at least 2 or 3 times a day. As you see here, last Friday, we start always every day with the morning call, some news about the fundamentals to look for during the sessions of the day, geopolitical and FX commodities, and of course how was the Asian session during the night for us who living in Europe. And then the morning updates from me, as you see, about many pairs, Dixie, Aussie, Aussie Chief, Aussie Jappy, etc. The chart that we usually discuss in the weekly overview, and we keep following those. And when we do have some good trade ideas, of course I do update as well. So as you see, guys, this is only from last Friday, and many updates during the market ongoing. If everything unfold, I used to update that and send some direction, as for example this possible breakout that we got, and many other good trade ideas. So all this was only from last Friday, so there is tremendous amount of effort I'm putting on this. That's why it's not for free, but for the little money you pay, you're gonna get back much more than that, I can assure you. So as you see, we're still looking at Friday's update, so lots and lots of updates and lots of great good trade, as this one was where I said earlier during that session in the morning that we should be looking to buy the pivots, and that exactly happens. And as you know, lots of great ideas. And we do have some other channel for the ongoing course. These channels are only for those who take the course. I will not enter in those sessions. And of course, we used to have a lots of fun in non-trading related sessions, channel where we do talk about almost everything and have some fun. So yeah, for those who used to send me questions about what all that is about, this is how it looks like. So let's go back to the session now. Took like 5 minutes of your time extra for this, so thank you for that. And of course I have to roll the disclaimer as usual, guys. Read it very carefully to know about the risk involved in trading. Just hit the pause button and read the whole disclaimer, please, to understand all the risk involved in trading. So next week we start the week with some important news already on Tuesday. I think it's very important day for the US dollar, because we've got the NFP numbers already, but it was, as you know, mixed numbers. What I didn't like about it was the average hourly earnings was bad. The headline number was a very good number, but the unemployment rate was 4.1, so a little bit higher than expected, which is not good, but it's still 4.1, which is a very good unemployment number. So all it was like 0.1 higher than the expectation, which was 4. And that's why I did continued shorting USD CAD last week based on bad average hourly earnings, and the CAD had a much better unemployment numbers, which is still going down, which is very good for the CAD, at least short term. So for next week, to be more sure about the US dollar, we need to look at the CPI, and I think CPI and core CPI are the number that worrying even the Fed, and they're gonna be looking at these numbers for more decision about the hikes. I still think that there is a possibility for 3 or 4 hikes this year for the US dollar, and any good CPI numbers will help that dollar weakness we had earlier this year to maybe get better. Now last week was okay and good week for the US dollar, but for the dollar to move more and higher, we need these numbers to show green numbers. Yeah. On Wednesday we do have Draghi speech, which is going to be important. Industrial production year on year is important, even for the Aussie pair. And we do have core retail sale, PPI, and retail sale month to month for the US dollar, and of course the crude oil inventories. So Wednesday gonna be another important day for the US dollar, and New Zealand as well. GDP quarter and quarter. New Zealand needs some good numbers to keep its the momentum that it have started during last week, to keep going higher. Swiss labor rate and monetary policy, I'm not expecting a lot of change in the policy there. They've been keep saying the same things, so no big change there. And for Friday we have the building permit for the USD, which could be also a little of market mover. More news, we do have this important meeting between Trump and Kim Jong, if that happen. These talks are very, very positive, and I think the market will not keep using the safe havens as it did before, and that we may see USD JAPY probably to move a little bit higher based on those fundamentals only. But let's take a look at the chart and see what the technicals are telling us, guys. Okay, as usual, we're gonna start with the Dixie. Let me find my 200 moving average. Here we go. Dixie on daily, since since February we've been trading inside this range, as you see, guys, and so far nothing has changed. One little clue has changed, that we are back inside this major downgoing channel here. We are back inside that. We have our first major higher low here. We broke this previous high with a little bit before we did another correction lower. So still not the best place to look for a trade, but using this chart to tell us what is the possibilities for the US dollar is why I most of the time to look at it at first before looking at anything else. So looking at this now, this is our first major higher low here. Nice, very nice swing, morning star formation down here. Very good daily candle. Thursday and Friday was indecision after NFP. I think we should be looking for the NFP high and low. This candle gonna be very important. Anything above that we may continue higher, below that we may retest these lows. So for short term, guys, you see you have this 4-hour range here. It is an important range. If we see any retest toward these levels, we may get a bounce from here, and if the market will continue higher, we gonna see probably some trouble at this area. Anything above that, I'm looking for this area here as a major level. Now, as you see, we broke this important structure with this high. Now we couldn't break below these lows, and we may get another push higher. So but we want to see this high here broken, the NFP high. Next trouble gonna of course be up here at around the 91, and anything above that gonna send us all the way to 92.55 up here, guys. Yeah, so mid-range at the moment. If we're looking at the major range from this low to this high, we are now trading mid-range just above the monthly pivot, which is an important level. As you see here, it did hold as good support before it got broken and then broke back above it, and we may get another retest to that area for next week. Gold, very messy right now. I don't like where the level is at the moment, because we do have the same thing going on here. We do have a major range and we do have some smaller range inside, and what I'm talking about is this range and this range right now, where the gold is in the lower smaller range. So for me, I think the best levels should be going long from a retest of this area here, or try to short the retest of these highs up here, because as you see, guys, we are inside a ranging market, and now we do have two ranges as well here. This is the bigger one, this is the bigger box here. This, let me leave it here so you can see it, and we do have this smaller range now. Okay, anything above this smaller range gonna send us all the way up to the top of the upper range, and probably get another rejection from that level. Yeah, but where the price is right now, I don't really like it. I don't like to trade in the middle of nowhere, and this is actually in the middle of nowhere for me. Keep an eye on the 1328, just below the monthly pivot point. This area may act as resistant. As you see, the 200 moving average on the 4-hour is coming from above as well, could give some kind of dynamic resistance as it does here in the past, and probably send it back down toward these lows, or back toward these low down here. So one could expect some sideways market on gold. I'm not sure if gold been used as safe havens as much right now, because the price is already a little bit high, but short-term sideways you could find some good trades. Yeah. So oil, we've got very nice trade to the downside. I was expecting oil actually to reach toward the support down here this time, but it didn't do that. But we've got a very good trade since last week session. We were talking about this correction higher toward the 618 area, and we've had this area here as our kill zone. So we've got a very nice move to the downside. But Friday, as you see, the market went all the way back up toward the pivot monthly pivot point, and did close just above that. Now on this particular time frame, it is almost the same as gold. We do have the 200 moving average that been acting as very good support. Looking earlier here, it was a very good dynamic support, and now it could start acting as dynamic resistance. So keep an eye on the 62.60 up here. This level here may give oil some trouble and could send it a little bit back down, at least short term. For a longer term view for oil to keep going higher and continue this major uptrend, I want to see this high up here broken. So it have to break and close above 63.2526 up here to probably test the monthly R1. Everything below that, I will still consider that oil may keep trying to go lower once again. So everything only to this level could send it back down here to test these lows as well. Okay, so right now short term, as you see, we do have some ranging going on, and it's not a smooth move to the upside as we had earlier, but this is typical oil. We do get a very good strong moves, and we do have some sideways before a breakout and continuation. So be careful. There is no need to guess the market. Work with the levels. Everything toward this area is a buy. Up here is as well a possible buy. A possible sell. Yeah. Forex, we start with Aussie New Zealand. Could not break this last low, start giving us higher lows and higher lows all the way here until last Friday. We've got a very nice, as you see here, the lows was getting higher every time, and it was a little bit of a choppy market down here. It still is, but now after last Friday's candle, one could see possible continuation, at least to retest this important structure. At the same time, we're gonna have the 200 moving average as well at this area, so we should keep an eye at this level for a possible bounce back down, at least short-term bounce. If that does not happen and this pair enter inside this range once again, then you see that that would be the break of the neckline of this possible bottom here. It rounded very nicely here, and any break that hold inside the upper range may start sinking to do something like this. Yeah. So if we hold, I don't think I will not be looking for the monthly R1 if we hold inside here, because if you look at it, it is in the middle of nowhere, so any hold inside this range may send us to retest this structure or the monthly R2, where we do have another major structure that gonna probably act as resistance. So these are the levels. First one is here, possible short, and a break and hold above will send us much higher. Sorry Brian, I didn't see your message. A possible 2618 trade on Dixie 4 hour? Probably. Let us look at it after we've done all the pairs. Aussie USD, as you see, also almost the same as Aussie New Zealand, a little bit of a rounded bottom here. The bounce came from a very important support level. As you see, this been acting as a strong resistance many times in the past, then support, resistant, and now support again. Broke below the 200 moving average and then closed back above that again. This particular move, like we have now, could be seen as A, B, C, D, and possible another leg higher. The bullish candles that we've got here, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we got this bullish candle on Friday. Another bullish engulfing, closing the week above the neckline. As you see, close and hold above this. Give it a little bit more strength that there is a possibility for continuation. Yeah. So we tested the low, gave us a bounce, another retest, and all the way up to the neckline, made this neckline, went back down, and now the neckline is broken. Yeah. And after the NFP, we did trade above the NFP high as well, and one could look for a possible continuation. But as you see, once again, the 200 moving average on the 4 hour is coming from above here. I think for next week, to be more safe, you want to see a break and hold above the monthly pivot point, a retest that got rejected, then we may see a continuation toward the monthly R1, which gonna be an important resistance if that happen. If we reach that level, as you see at that same area, we do have the monthly R1, and we do have previous structure high here. Yeah. Keep an eye on this structure, because this may act as well as possible resistance if we reach that level. So let me mark that for you. This high here is an important high, but so far neckline broken, higher lows and higher highs. Let's try to follow it and see. Yeah. Cat Chief broke. We got a very nice bounce from the monthly S1, and it did break this structure high here and did stop at the monthly pivot point. We have been updating the room about this trade when before the breakout, and was looking for this pattern to happen, and we got exactly that. So as you see now, we've made a very nice rounded bottom. We broke some structure levels and now trading at the monthly pivot point level, and we do have the 200 moving average for the 4 hour coming from above at that same level. So I'm expecting at least short-term bounce from this area. Looking at the RSI on the 4 hour, as you see, it is on the extreme. We do have this possible double bottom here, so the move is not it did not end yet, so we cannot be sure that this is the last high to draw our Fibonacci's. But if it did really end where the price is right now, the 6-1 8 Fibonacci is a good level where we may take another long, because that is in a confluence with the neckline on the 4-hour. Okay, but that is still an if, because we're not sure if this move is done already and we're gonna see that correction. And actually, guys, based on what we saw, what we talked about earlier about safe havens, chief and Jappy are safe havens currencies, and with those discussions about between USA and North Korea, maybe investors are not so worried anymore, and start selling those safe haven currencies, yeah, which means CAD chief may appreciate and keep going higher. And we had a great unemployment number for CAD that may help this idea to continue even higher, yeah. But look at the momentum last week, very good. The bulls did really show us that they do mean it this time. If you look at during this whole move to the downside, there was no really good surge as we had here. The body of these candles shows you that the bulls does really mean it, but it may be a little bit extended now, need some correction low before it continues. CAD Jappy. We had a wonderful trades on the way down, guys. Been sending these updates in my room, and did some send some updates even on Facebook and Telegram since the break here. We've been following this move, then we've got this break here and this down here, and now we've got some good rejection back to the upside. As you see, didn't really touch the bottom of this move here, but the move from these lows now seems to be another strong momentum move. And if you are holding a long position here, of course your first level to look at is this structure here. This it is a good structure actually. We do have the 23.6 Fibonacci retracements at this level. Next structure, if this broken, is of course where we do have the monthly pivot point, and this possible support gonna act as a resistance again. 38.2 at that level, and that is like a very important level. If we reach that, we may get a bounce from there, yeah. I still think there is a big possibility that we reach the 38.2 and the monthly pivot point, actually based on possible weakness in Jappy in the coming weeks. Swiss Jappy, it did break this major support here. We've been trading it since the break of the trend line and the monthly pivot point area here, and last Friday was a try to go back inside this level. So it is like on the edge of an important area, and we should be watching this to see if this was like a possible fake out and we'll enter inside this level again to reach that, to retest the monthly pivot point or not. So now both of these are not they will probably not benefit of this meeting, guys, since both of them are haven currencies. So it's a little bit tricky. On the lower time frame, we see that this could be only a retest and continuation, as well as you see on the 4-hour late Friday we've got rejection from this level. So based on the 4-hour time frame, it seems very possible that this rejection continue and we reach to a lower level. But looking at the daily, this look like a very nice piercing pattern, which is a bullish reversal pattern. Yeah, so I need a little bit more of confirmation, and if next week like this happen and on the 4 hour we go back toward the lows and break those lows, I am pretty sure that we're gonna get a very nice move to the downside. As you see, guys, if this to continue, we do have some nice room to the downside to till we reach this bottom here, because there is not much on the way. We do have this structure, a minor one. We do have still this gap is still open, could close that. The gap may act as support down here, and just below that we do have this major swing low down here. Anyway, it is now trading below the 200 daily moving average, broke this major trend line. So the question is, are we getting a deeper correction to the monthly pivot point before we continue lower, or are we gonna keep going lower from these structures down here? That is what I'm looking to see for next week. Ahmed, my RSI is on period 7 to spot divergence a little bit faster. Euro Aussie, guys, you know, we've been trading this range earlier. We've got the breakout. I was looking for a possible continuation after this breakout, a retest in continuation, but that didn't happen. Euro got very weak, and after this head and shoulders formation here, as you see, when this neckline formed and got broken with this major candle here, I was much more cautious to going long. There was no real signal to go long as well, so it was only about keep shorting instead now when we are inside this lower range. Yeah, and if you are holding a short, I still see this to reach toward this important structure down here. As you see, a clear level of support. We've been looking when we were trading during this period here, we were looking for the break here for a continuation lower. We never got that, so keep an eye on this structure. I think this is an important structure that's gonna give us at least a short-term bounce toward the top of the old channel before maybe give you a bounce at that level or not. So this major support is important to look at, and of course if that get broken and the euro keep getting weaker and weaker, then you can start looking to reach the monthly S1 and the trend line down here. Let me show you on the daily. Yeah, so that may happen as well, but it is now very easy traded because you do have a very nice level to look at. You have the high of this range here, we do have the high of this range here, and we do have this bottom to make business at. Yeah, on the 4 hour you see how oversold it is, so any touch toward this area down here, you could take at least a short-term bounce to the upside on this one. EuroCAD, a perfect trade idea here. As you see, guys, this pair did reach the extreme highs up here, so it was a very clear possible shorting scenario. Let's go to the weekly. We've been talking about this weekly level in the last week's overview, and I told you guys this is an important level and we should be looking for a short. Now on the weekly you got a very nice hammer to the downside last week. Daily time frame, shooting star formation, bearish engulfing Thursday, Friday just kept going lower. So very good momentum, and we do have some trend lines to work with for next week. So it was very good and easy play. Head and shoulder formation here, very good. Before the right shoulder formed, we had a bearish engulfing candle happening at that level. Before that we had another bearish engulfing candle. So there was lots of signals here, and then we got the retest toward this area here inside this bearish engulfing candle, which was the right shoulder format, and here we had the break, and there was no other reason to not keep shorting this toward at least this trend line or this structure down here. Yeah, now the RSI is at the oversold area, and we are heading toward a possible support on the trend line or at this structure down here, which may give a bounce back up, at least short term. Okay, but this reversal could move even lower. So if we break this trend line, then I think we're gonna see it moving even down here toward the monthly S1 or probably lower. Euro sterling. We've been talking about this channel during the last week overview, and as you see, the rejection was happening at the channel monthly R1 pivot point, which used to be a good level to try to short, in confluence with this channel at that level as well, and previous highs. As you see here, lots of trouble area at this structure here. So there was some highs, there was the channel, there was the monthly R1 here, very good signals. Then this day ended as a very nice inverted hammer shooting star formation the day after, and on the 4 hour it was easy to spot this head and shoulder formation. Once again, the head here had already all the signals in it at the channel, close below the channel and below the monthly R1. So it was already a sell here, and the retest that gave you the right shoulder was another sell signal. So the neckline is broken now, as you see, and we've held the lows on Friday. I think that if you're holding a short, you can target at least the monthly pivot point down here to reach these lows down here before it give you a possible bounce higher. Yeah, so basically we could play this channel until we get a breakout, but short term I think the monthly pivot point area may act as a possible support short term. Euro Jappy broke to this lower range now, and went off this possible support here back toward the highs of the lower channel. So since it is hovering at these levels now, I don't think that we may see much more to the downside. I think actually now this build up that going on, that we may see another move toward the highs here based on possible weakness on Jappy once again. Yeah, and usually when this pattern start happening, the currency is trading near the highs here. The lows are getting higher, almost equal highs here, it's what I call a possible build up for a breakout here. So this is what I'm looking for next week. I'm more interested of the break up and retest and continuation from based on this very nice rounded bottom or cup and handle formation. If you trade that, this is a very nice cup and handle formation and a possible continuation. So this is what I'm looking at for next week. Another that the pair do enter back inside the upper channel. Let's see if we get that. EURUSD inside a range now. As you see, it is this range we are talking about, a little bit boring compared with the other euro pairs that did move a lot. If we look at Euro Aussie, Euro CAD, Euro New Zealand, all of them been moving well, but EURUSD is still not showing the same weakness as the rest, and we still have these levels to work with. So down here is a possible support, 1.2150-ish area. May give another bounce toward monthly R1. Monthly R1 did act as good resistance, so if the pair reach that first next week, we may get a bounce back from that area. Yeah, so it is still a sideways market. It is still have a lot to show us before we decide a longer term move. Even if it breaks the monthly R1, we still have lots of trouble here. We do have yearly R1 here. It is still, this resistance is a very important resistance. Now, one could as well argue about this possible head and shoulder happening here. Let me do it again. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Yeah, so this is a possible head and shoulder as well, but to get this confirmed, you want to see the neckline, which happened to be here, to get broken, and then just below that neckline you do have this possible support coming at this previous structure here, and you do have the trend line. So really for long term there's lots of troubles on the way. This need to be broken, this need to be broken, trend line need to be broken, and just below that we do have the 200 daily moving average coming from below. So play it one level at a time, guys. If you are holding a short, of course, based on this evening star formation here, these three candles, there is already a sell signal, technical sell signal that may be targeting the lows down here and the trend line. But for more, we want to see this happen: break of the trend line and this structure, retest, sell the retest, and then we do have these areas down here to work with. Okay, I'm not a fan of the pair right now, so I'm looking at somewhere else. Sterling CAD, after making this possible fake out, but it was a breakout since it was many days outside of above these highs, so it is actually a confirmed breakout. The pair spent like 3 days above the structure before it start trading lower. You see that the monthly R2 was an important level, and these lows, the low here just before Brexit week, was the level where the pair got rejected, and we're still trading way above the 200 moving average. Now the move, you see it's stretched. We are trading far away from the mean of the pair, so there is a possibility that we see some more downside on this one, and we do have this very long divergence been going since this high, as you see. So if you are holding a short, first target is very possible that we reach the monthly pivot point or even lower toward this structure. Looking left, you see that this is a very important structure. The lows of Brexit here that been acting as a very strong resistant in the past, as you see, and support as well. So if you are holding a short, this should be your target, first target, before you possibly getting the second bounce back up. And I don't need to mention that if this got broken, then we may test these lows down here or probably lower. But for next week, I think it's very fair to target the level down here or the monthly pivot point. Sterling Jappy broke this major trend line, broke back below this major support here, and this swing low here did act as a good support level, sending the pair back inside the upper range, and by that I mean this range here. Yeah, so it did trade below the 200 daily moving average as well, got rejected once again, but Friday was another attempt to enter inside. So this is the same scenario as Euro Jappy. You need some more confirmation. Anything like that we enter and hold inside this just above the trend line again, retest the fail to send it back down, then one could consider a possible continuation higher from this area. If that happened, as I mentioned earlier, that we get some Japanese yen weakness the upcoming weeks. Okay. Otherwise, if we go down to lower time frame, we do have the first trouble gonna be at this structure here, as you see. When we reach that, we may get another bounce lower and make some consolidation here, or another bounce toward this level. But the reversal is, for me, looking good, because we're doing another one of those build ups before a breakout. Higher lows that getting higher and higher, and equal highs here, and we've got already some potential breakout. Anything toward this structure could be a possible buy here, and if we hold above this, then we gonna keep moving higher on this pair. Okay. For a longer term continuation lower, we want to see this structure down here broken, but the way it looks like, for me, it is more for a build up, for a continuation higher, guys. Sterling USD daily. Yeah, we've talked about this descending channel last week, and the ascending channel, the bigger one, going higher. You see, guys, we've had this swing high here and then got rejected, and Friday was an inside bar. So the levels are clear ones. This rejection at the 61.8, the break of the trend line, was the reason for a possible short, and as you see, it did a nice move lower, but then went back up during the NFP, tested daily R1 before it got rejected. It got rejected again. Yeah. So the neckline is broken on this particular time frame. I still think we may reach toward these lows down here. Yeah, on this pair, but you see it clearly here on the daily. There is some sideways movement. This high is an important high, and if we keep trading below that high, there is more to the downside here toward the monthly S1. Okay. New Zealand USD found good support here at this previous structure. The bullish days are looking very healthy to the upside after this bullish engulfing, and then we've got this major candle breaking previous high, and this could be seen as a possible correction before a continuation higher. So now this major candle is very important. Any break above this and hold above this may send us back toward the tops on this pair. Okay, following the major trend. Let me see. Does it looks like a forming handle and cup and handle? On which time? Which currency are you talking about? January. Was your questions about this? Are we talking New Zealand USD or are we talking sterling USD? Yeah, both of them looking could be a possible cup and handle. Yeah, if you mean this is cup handle, and if so, if you want to trade that pattern, then you want to see the neckline of the cup broken, retest, continuation. Yeah, that may happen. Exactly. So yeah, there is a possibility, but for me now, when we broke this previous low here, this structure is broken. That's what make me think that we may move and retest these lows. But the scenario you are talking about is possible, but to trade it, I want to see this important area to get broken first. So trading above the monthly pivot point. For this one here, you see we do have now a possible ascending trend line here. As you see, higher low, major swing, higher low here, major swing with a higher high. The bullish candles are the dominating one for now. The down moves was very slow, and then we got this major candle, but then small bodies before we start seeing good bullish candles here. For this pair to be more sure about it, we want to see this high here taken out. If that happened, then we gonna keep moving higher on this one. Okay, to the downside, we do have this support still. This is the support that we should be looking at. So any test toward these supports, you may want to look for a at least short-term bounce. Okay, and before you start shorting for longer term, you want to see this broken, retested, and then continuation lower. USD CAD, perfect reversal at a perfect level. You've been hearing me talking about this structure. I think we talked about this structure last week as well, but we were talking as well about this structure. Now, when this happened, guys, when we do have a nice structure and just above that another important structure, most of the time you see the market break in this structure to retest the closer and more important structure, and this exactly was happened. And as you see, we touched this structure. The day after, we got a very nice bearish engulfing candle. That was your selling signal already. But Wednesday was another try and another attempt, but get rejected. And if that was not enough, you got Thursday that couldn't reach higher. And then Friday was the real kicker and the breakout below the neckline. So if you are holding a short, I think it is very, very possible that we do reach these levels down here before another bounce higher on USD CAD. On lower time frame, you see it clearly. 1, 2 here, 3 attempts, double top. This move could not move higher, and then the break of the neckline and continuation. Yeah, so that's why I think we may reach toward the monthly pivot point. RSI is at the extreme, so we probably want to wait for the retest of the broken neckline and try the short from a higher level. Yeah, let the pair take a breath higher, sell the rallies. USD JPY, sideways week, as you see. Very small body. Sorry, this was not. Let's go back to the daily. Sideways last week, and then we got a very nice breakout last Friday. As you see here, we had a very nice bullish engulfing candle at this last support level, and every time we reach that level, we've got rejected back up. So now Friday was the break of the neckline, and it looks like we broke outside of this descending channel we've got going like this down here. So we want to see if this pair to hold another day outside of the channel, and if that happens, then we probably gonna test the highs or the 108.50, which is a very, very important level for the long-term run on this pair, because this structure was a very long consolidation period, which been acting as a very good support. So if this to continue higher, you should keep an eye at the 108.50 area for a possible bounce from that level. But for next week, you want to see the pair holding outside of the channel, holding up above 106, 106.50 is an important level. And of course, the last line of defense is now down here around the 105.50, 105.00. But as you see, I did mark this neckline now, so this area here for me is an important structure short term, and that we may get a test and bounce from that level to reach the monthly pivot point area. Till then, we may got the 200 moving average on the 4 hour at this structure somewhere here, and looking left, we do have this major swing high that may act as a possible resistance. Major trend, you see it clearly, still to the downside, but now we've broke above a previous swing high, which could be an early warning for a possible reversal, and I'm saying only possible reversal, not anything else yet. For really this pair move much higher or total reverse of this long-term down move, I want to see the 108.50 broken, retested, and then we may continue higher. As for now, we may see a possible consolidation inside this lower range as well, guys. we've had a very strong move last month, and we may see some sideways movement, since the pivot point range this month is a very wide range. Okay, bitcoins. Now bitcoins did, as you see here, a very strong move, break below the 10,000 level, retested, broke below 9,000, retested, and went back down. I was looking for bitcoins to reach 7,800 or probably lower this time, since it couldn't break above and continue higher up here around the 11,800. But at the same time, if we look at this, we do have a possible double bottom scenario here, and we do have bullish divergence, so we should take this early signal seriously, because it usually mean that this may happen, keep going higher. But to make things easy for you guys, keep an eye on the 9,500 here, the neckline of this double bottom. You want to see that broken before a possible continuation higher. Okay, so if we break, hold above, retest, then you can target the 10,000 once again as a move. But since this very strong move to the downside happened, I am now expecting that we may see some range before we break below once again. Okay, so the neckline could be a possible sell level as well, guys, and if broken, then we could target the 10,000 up here, 10,300 as well. Okay, only because of this double bottom make me a little bit cautious, keep shorting from after this long move, and that we do have this divergence going on here. When we had divergence earlier here, we've got a very nice bounce higher. Yeah, so we should respect these divergence and wait for a better signal. And I think that was the last pair, since we are back to Dixie here. Someone was asking something about the Dixie. I don't remember what it was. If you're still in the room, please send that question again. For the rest of you, as usual, a couple of minutes for questions, or if you have any charts you want me to look at, please let me know. You're welcome, John Ree. And guys, please do not forget to hit the like button if you did like the session. I only see 22 likes and we are like 40 viewers right now. So let me see, is there any questions, or should we call it a day? Christina Jones, you're gonna get that in the room instead. Let me see. Let me take a look on that for you, Christina. Here we go. Well, we did break the neckline last week. We still trading inside this short-term range. Let me go to the daily as well and show you what I meant last week when I told you in the room that I don't like it. What I don't like about it right now, that we do have this major range and we do have another range inside that. So now we do have two range and we are in the middle in both of the range, the bigger one and the smaller one. But last Friday was a very good momentum move. We broke above this high here, okay, and I think one could target, looking at the daily time frame, we could target 25,800 up here. Could be a target based on the daily time frame. There is nothing on the way to stop it from that. On lower time frame, as you see, inside this smaller range now, and after we breaking above this neckline, I think we should be looking for a possible retest to this neckline, especially if it happens that Monday's daily pivot happened to be somewhere in this area. So if you got the Monday daily pivot somewhere in this area, that could be a possible correction level to try to take a long from, since we broke above this major swing high on the 4 hour. So that could be a possible scenario for Dow Jones for next week. But as you see, it is overbought on all time frames, and I think it's went too far. So it would be great if we got that retest of this broken structure. Here we are on the 1 hour time frame and the bounce. As you saw last Friday when I did the update in the room, we've been talking about playing the pivots, and it was a perfect move. This move here didn't really touch the pivot, but the NFP hour was a great reason to take the pivot point, and since then we broke above the 200 moving average for the 1 hour and kept trading higher, now above NFP high, which is an important level. So yeah, once again, any retest, fade down here could be a possible buy to at least the retest of the highs, and if broken, then we have much more room to the upside on Dow Jones. Okay, you're welcome, Christina. The name of my pivot point indicator, it is let me see, I think it just call it pivot point standard. Here you have it, pivot point standard. That's the name of it. On TradingView, just search for that and you will find it, and you can put daily, weekly, monthly and yearly on that indicator. Yes, yeah guys, of course, see you in the room. Perfect. I don't see any more questions, so thanks a lot. See you over there, YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, and for my lovely students, see you in our trading room. Bye bye, and thank you for today.